I'm concerned, please keep my name in your mouth. So
it in
when
there.
people go to look me up and they see that you're wrong, then they can be like, oh, that dude's trash. Like,
Preview. Preview.
Icicle.
A little serious, but pretty real, man. Have been in this business, have you ever experienced racism, or has it ever seemed that could, that was in the way of anything within wrestling that you've been through?
that's in life in general. I've been racially profiled all my life. I was accused of rape when I was 14 years old, and at church, no less. Wow. Yeah, by a person who didn't attend the church. Somebody was outside, but but in wrestling, I think I've been given the fairest amount of opportunities that I did earn. I've been slighted of hand at least twice, maybe because of my heritage and where I come from and who I am. But I think my mouth has gotten me in trouble more than anything. And you ask any of my mentors, they're like, dude, you got to learn to shut up.
I take it you speak your mind.
Yeah, that was one thing that you had to learn. Is you had to learn the game. Wrestling's like business. It is a business. You don't talk as much. You open yourself up to more opportunities. But yeah, I've been racial profiled. That's with everything, I think.
Do you think how you said about opening your mouth and stuff like that? Do you think it's a hard fine line between speaking your mind and this? Because I'm sure, I don't know if you've experienced it already, or it's probably going to start happening. How do you feel about these other wrestlers? Or just like anybody goes to Breakfast Club and they say, hey, what do you think about these other guys? Or what do you think about this other rapper? Have you had stuff like that? People asking you about other people that you're like,
I mean, I think that everything comes with class and dignity. I believe that there are certain things that you say in public and there are certain things that you say at home. And there are certain things that you let be known, though. And I think if a person decides to act one way and they brought that upon themselves, then yeah, that's fine to say. But I think if you go out of your way to attack somebody, if you go out of your way to dump on their character, what does that show about you? What does that show about the person that you are? And for me, in wrestling with other wrestlers, dumping on other wrestlers, that's their prerogative. And I'm not there to say whether they were right or wrong, because they might have a legitimate beef with that person, like that guy owes them money or what have you. But for me, it's you got to be a duck in this business with water. Let it roll off your back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it makes good for controversial TV, and there's some smut out there.
Yeah.
and it's a good name to keep their name relevant.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, you just be a duck and let it roll off your back.
Have you had that already? Like smut TV, or they did something on purpose to...
When I first started wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. When I first started wrestling, there was this thing called trash bag wrestlers, right?
Oh, my God.
And I was standing in the middle of the lucha ring. I had this Nike thing on top, right? Because I didn't like to have a singlet. I like to wear pants, but I like to wear this top thing. And it was just when I was finding my feet, Okay. And they were like, "This guy is trash," and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, "Well, I've been wrestling for 6 months. Like,
oh my God.
I don't expect to be great. I don't expect to be Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? I don't expect to be John Cena. I don't expect to be Dwayne Johnson off the bat. But yeah, and people are gonna talk. Try not to say that, but you know what? People are gonna talk shit about you anyway.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, please keep my name in your mouth. So
it in
when
there.
people go to look me up and they see that you're wrong, then they can be like, "Oh, that dude's trash. Like, that guy."
Yeah, the guy who did it.
The guy who did it, yeah, he's trash. I don't listen to his opinion, no way.
Yeah.
So keep my name in your mouth. Please talk more. Please, I'm begging you.
Yeah, talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had and this kind of follows up with that. Have you ever had people, maybe even personal friends, that they don't take what you do serious? I know earlier we was talking about people that don't believe in wrestling or things like that, but what I'm saying is they're like, oh yeah, it's just a hobby, or they don't take it as serious as you do, and of course that happens.
We won the TWA tag team titles on July 12th. And there were people that messaged me when I posted that we had won the tag team titles. They were like, you really out here doing this thing. Like, that's like the third title you won. And I'm like, well, duh. Like, I'm not out here traveling to Kansas and New Orleans and Mexico and Laredo and North Carolina for nothing. You know, I'm really out here trying to make something of myself. Merch sales coming soon, by the way. T-shirts coming soon. But yeah, man, it's just been, you know, people are not going to believe in a dream. A dream is just a dream until you actually put the work in to make it a reality.
I love it.
Because every single time people are going to tell you that what you do is just a hobby. Your podcast, it was a hobby a year ago. It was just a thing that you decided to do, right? Now, you got the setup, you got the microphones, you got the liquor, y'all are drunk half the time anyway. You got the soundproofing, you got all this stuff. Exactly. It's legitimate. It's your business. And Nike had it right. Mm-hmm. It's a dream until you make it not a dream.
You said it right.
So you put the work in.
I salute that. So tell me this, what is, and I know there's probably a lot of different paths you can go down. What is your end goal in wrestling?
The end goal, I have several goals in wrestling.
Okay. I
think in life you should always set goals for yourself to lead up to a bigger goal. For me, I wanted to be world champion by the time I was 27 in a major company. I'm talking about ROH, New Japan, WWE, huge platforms, places like that. Okay. Now AEW is coming up on the horizon. I think that it's a good startup, but I think right now their flavor of the month, I don't mean that in a bad way. I think that's because it's a new kid in town. And it's a fresh product, and it's something that people can really get into. Okay. But I think that they're going to have problems when they hit that first speed bump. They're going to have a problem. And so for me, I wanted to be a major world champion by the time I was 27. To do that, I have to get into companies like RSW in Georgia or places like Inspire Pro Wrestling. By the way, Inspire, I see y'all liking my stuff on Instagram. Hit your boy up. Yeah. I also get into major places like Kansas. I'm wrestling for the WWX Championship soon for their promotion there. Get into California, PWG, and then travel to Japan. Then get into different companies and get into different aspects and have a bigger presence on social media. So all these small goals lead up to that big goal. But the one major goal that I have is, out of everything, to make sure that my family's taken care of, because this is what I want to do for a living. I like it. So that's the major goal.
Yeah, I like how you said that, because I think it was Cat Williams that I heard say this, like that he had attained all the goals he ever made in his life within 6 months. Because he didn't know he was going to blow like he did when he did. And when he at that point, he said that's when he kind of started tripping, because he was like, he didn't have any more goals. He was like, oh, I did everything already. Mm-hmm. You know, and I feel that if you ever get to the point that you're like, I'm done, I did it all, mm-hmm. that, you know, where do you go from there? That could drive you crazy.
It can. Success is, they say it's lonely at the top. And it is. It's very lonely. And it's a thing where if you don't have God and a sense of direction, that's where drugs come in. That's where hanging out with the wrong crowds come in. And I don't mean to preach it or nobody or nothing, but, you know, you have to be able to evolve. And that's what Unstoppable is. We're in evolution. You see, Unstoppable is the past of wrestling, the current of wrestling, and the future of wrestling.
Okay.
Me and JJ LeVay are kind of the current and present and future of wrestling. Whereas Total Pimp and Tony Strong, they're both like 40 apiece. You know what I mean? So they're the past and current transition for us. You know what I mean? And you have to evolve. You have to become somebody different. You have to become something different. A good example, Chris Jericho. That guy's 50, but wow. He's relevant. The guy can go. Yeah. It's incredible. Dwayne Johnson, 50. Oh, I didn't know this. Dude just did Hobbs and Shaw. It's amazing. Yep. Vince McMahon is 70 years old. And the dude's been doing this since before WrestleMania 1. Mm-hmm. So evolution is not a science. It is a fact of life.
Tell me this. And right before we shut it down, I need to know, and the people out there need to know, What taunt moves should they be afraid of? When what and you could stand to your feet if you need to.
Taunt move.
How do you taunt people?
I don't. If I start talking, if I stop talking, that's when you got a problem. Because if I stop talking and I look at you, or if I get this look on my face,
they've been taunted.
They're gonna die.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's when you know you're about to get your ass whooped.